The smell of lavender and antiseptic always hangs heavy in Evelyn's house. It's a scent that has come to define my marriage over the last 6 months. I stand in the kitchen, carefully measuring out the exact dosage of herbal tea and heart-strengthening vitamins my mother-in-law insists she needs to survive the afternoon. My husband, Mark, stands by the window. His shoulders are permanently hunched, a physical weight of grief and anxiety pulling him down. He looks 10 years older than he did when we got married. "Is she awake?" he asks, his voice barely a whisper. "She's resting," I say, handing him a cup of coffee. I try to touch his hand to offer some comfort, but he pulls away to check his phone. He's looking at medical bills. He's looking at nursing home reviews. He's looking at everything except me. I remember our wedding day, the way Mark looked at me like I was the only person in the world. Now, I feel like a ghost in my own home, or rather, a servant in Evelyn's kingdom. When she was diagnosed with a progressive degenerative heart condition shortly after our first anniversary, our lives didn't just change, they stopped. We gave up our apartment in the city. We postponed my promotion. We moved into her drafty Victorian-style house because she couldn't bear to be alone in her final days. Mark is an only child, and the guilt eats him alive every time he leaves her side for more than an hour. I've spent my weekends scrubbing her floors, my evenings cooking low-sodium meals she often throws away, and my nights comforting a husband who is too emotionally exhausted to love me back. I've sacrificed my career, my savings, and my sanity because I believed in the sanctity of family. I trusted them. I whisper to the empty kitchen as Mark wanders into the living room to check on her. I trusted that we were in this together. I trusted that her gasps for air and her fainting spells were the tragic end of a life, not the beginning of a cage. Then I hear it, the frail, thinned-out voice that makes my skin crawl. "Mark, is that you?" My chest. It feels so tight today. Mark drops his coffee. The mug doesn't break, but the liquid splashes across the white tile like a bruise. He runs to her. He always runs to her. I stand alone in the kitchen, staring at the spilled coffee. I don't run anymore. Something inside me is starting to feel very, very cold. That was the moment everything changed. Or, at least, it was the moment the first crack appeared in the perfect illusion of our lives. The exhaustion is a physical ache in my bones. It's 2 a.m., and I'm sitting on the bathroom floor, the only place where I can have a moment of silence. Evelyn had a crisis at dinner because I used the wrong kind of olive oil. Mark spent 3 hours rubbing her feet and apologizing for my carelessness. I feel invisible. I am the caregiver, the cook, the driver, and the punching bag. But I am never the wife. Not anymore. Mark came to bed an hour ago, but he's already asleep, snoring from the sheer weight of his emotional burnout. I should be sleeping too, but my mind is racing. Something isn't adding up. Evelyn claims she can barely walk to the bathroom. Yet I've noticed the dust patterns on the floor changing in rooms she supposedly hasn't entered in weeks. I've seen her specialized medication bottles, the ones that cost us $300 a month, and the labels look off. I walk out into the hallway, my bare feet silent on the hardwood. I just want a glass of water. As I pass Evelyn's door, I stop. The door is cracked open. A sliver of light cuts across the carpet. I hear a sound. It's not the labored, wheezing breath of a dying woman. It's a giggle, a sharp, clear, vibrant laugh that sounds nothing like the woman who gasped for air 2 hours ago. "Oh, I know, Diane," Evelyn says, her voice loud and perfectly steady. "It's a masterpiece. Mark is practically glued to my side. He wouldn't dream of taking that job in Chicago now." My heart stops. I press my back against the wall, my breath hitching in my throat. And Evelyn continues, her tone dripping with such venom it makes my stomach turn. "Sarah, she's exactly where I want her. Under my thumb. She's so desperate to be the good daughter-in-law that she's burning herself alive to keep me warm. It's pathetic, really, but it keeps my son home. That's all that matters. I feel like I've been hit by a freight train. The illness, the heart condition. It's all a leash. The doctor? Evelyn laughs again. Dr. Eris is an old friend from the country club. He owes me a few favors. He writes the notes, I play the part, and Mark pays the consultation fees. It's a perfect system. I can't breathe, not because I'm sick, but because the air has been sucked out of the world. I've spent 6 months mourning a woman who is currently laughing at my stupidity. I look at the door, every instinct screaming at me to burst in and scream. But I don't. I stay in the shadows. They thought I wouldn't fight back. They thought I was the weak link in their little chain. They have no idea who I am when I'm angry. I don't sleep for the rest of the night. I sit in the dark of our bedroom, watching the sun crawl up the wall. Every time Mark shifts in his sleep, I feel a surge of pity followed by a wave of cold, hard rage. How could he not see it? Or worse, does he know? No. Mark is many things. Weak, guilt-ridden, easily manipulated. But he isn't a liar. He loves his mother with a blind, terrifying devotion. He's a victim in this, too, but his victimhood is costing me my life. When the alarm goes off, I don't get up to make this special omelet Evelyn demands. I stay under the covers. Mark stirs. Sarah, are you okay? It's 7 o'clock. Mom needs her pills. I'm not getting up, Mark, I say, my voice flat. He sits up, rubbing his eyes. What? Is something wrong? Are you sick? I'm tired, Mark. I'm just so tired. He sighs, that familiar sound of disappointment. We all are, honey. But Mom doesn't have the luxury of sleeping in. Her heart is fine, Mark. I snap, sitting up. The silence that follows is deafening. Mark looks at me like I've just grown a second head. How can you say that? You've seen the reports. You've seen her collapse. I've seen what she wants us to see, I say, my voice trembling. I want to tell him. I want to scream about the phone call, the country club doctor, the laughter. But I realize looking at his face that he won't believe me. He'll think I'm having a breakdown. He'll think the stress has finally broken me. I think you need to talk to someone, Mark says softly, reaching for my hand. The stress of caregiving is getting to you. I'll go take care of Mom. Just try to relax. He leaves the room. I hear him downstairs, his voice hushed and apologetic as he talks to her. I hear her weak response, the practiced tremor in her voice that I now recognize as a performance. I feel a sob build in my chest, a deep guttural sound of total emotional collapse. I've lost my husband. He's chosen a lie over my reality. I am completely alone in this house of mirrors. I spend the morning in a daze. I find myself in the laundry room, staring at Evelyn's emergency oxygen tank. I touch the nozzle. It's dusty. She never uses it when we aren't looking. I realize then that if I want my life back, I can't just tell the truth. I have to prove it. I have to unmask her in a way that leaves no room for doubt, no room for Mark to retreat into his shell of denial. I'm not the victim anymore. I'm the investigator. I wait until Evelyn is napping and Mark has gone to the pharmacy to pick up more of her sugar pill prescriptions. This is my only window. I slip into Evelyn's room. It's filled with get-well cards and flowers that smell like decay. She's snoring, a loud, healthy snore that stops the moment I make a sound. She's a light sleeper. I have to be fast. Her phone is sitting on the nightstand plugged into the charger. She never leaves it behind, but she thinks I'm in the basement doing her 3 loads of laundry. My hands are shaking so hard I can barely swipe the screen. It's locked. Of course it is. I try her birthday. No. Mark's birthday. No. Then I remember a conversation from months ago. She mentioned her lucky number from the casino, 0-7-2-2. The phone clicks open. My heart is drumming against my ribs. I go straight to her messages. There's a thread at the top with a name I don't recognize. Diane. I scroll. It's all there. Mark bought the whole chest pain act tonight. I even got him to cancel that weekend trip he planned with Sarah. She looked like she wanted to cry. It was delicious. The fake meds are getting expensive, but it's worth it to see her working like a maid. She actually thinks I'm dying. If she only knew I spent the morning doing Pilates while she was at the grocery store. Dr. A said he can keep the ruse going as long as the check's clear. I told him Mark would pay anything to keep me comfortable. I feel a wave of nausea, so strong I have to lean against the bedpost. It's worse than I thought. It's not just a lie, it's a conspiracy. She isn't just faking an illness. She's actively enjoying the destruction of my marriage. I hear a floorboard creak in the hallway. I quickly take photos of the screen with my own phone. My fingers are flying. I scroll further back. I find photos. Photos of Evelyn at a spa 3 towns over, taken on a day she told Mark she was too weak to leave her bed. Photos of her drinking wine with Diane, laughing, looking radiant and healthy. The bedroom door handle turns. I lock her phone and slide it back onto the nightstand just as the door swings open. I'm standing by the window, adjusting the curtains. Sarah. Evelyn's voice is the sick version again, thin and airy. What are you doing in here? You startled me. Just letting in some light, Evelyn, I say, my voice surprisingly steady. You looked so pale. I thought you might need some vitamin D. She narrows her eyes. For a split second, the mask slips, and I see the predator underneath. I need my rest, and I need my tea. Where is it? Coming right up, I say, smiling. It's the first real smile I've had in months. It's the smile of someone who finally holds all the cards. I'll make it extra special today. We have a lot to celebrate. For the next 3 days, I am the perfect daughter-in-law. I cook her favorite meals. I fluff her pillows. I listen to her complaints about her fluttering heart with wide-eyed sympathy. Mark is relieved. He thinks I've finally accepted the situation. He's being kinder to me, touching my shoulder, thanking me for being so patient. It turns my stomach. Every time he kisses her cheek, I want to scream. But I wait. I start planning the celebration of recovery dinner. Evelyn, I say during lunch, you've been doing so much better the last few days. I think we should have a nice family dinner. Just the 3 of us. To celebrate your strength. Evelyn smirks, her eyes gleaming with triumph. That sounds lovely, dear. Maybe a bit of salmon? And that expensive white wine Mark likes. Anything for you, I say. I spend the afternoon making arrangements. I don't just want a confrontation. I want a reckoning. I call Mark's aunt, Evelyn's sister, who lives in the next state. I call a few of Evelyn's friends from the neighborhood. I tell them it's a surprise party for Evelyn's miraculous improvement. I know they'll show up. They love a good drama. And they've all been hearing Evelyn's sob stories for months. Then I make one more call to Dr. Aris's office. I pretend to be Mark's accountant. I tell them we're reconciling the medical expenses for the insurance audit and need a confirmation of the specialized treatments Evelyn has been receiving. The receptionist, bored and overworked, confirms what I already knew. There are no treatments. There are only private consultations that are billed as cash-only wellness checks. I record the call. That evening, I set the table. I use the fine china. I light candles. It looks like a scene from a movie. Mark comes home and stares at the setup. Wow, Sarah, you really went all out. I wanted tonight to be unforgettable, I say, pouring him a drink. We've been through so much. It's time the truth came out. The truth. Mark asks, tilting his head. The truth about how much we love your mother. I say, my voice sweet as honey. Evelyn descends the stairs, leaning heavily on her cane, acting for the invisible cameras. She's wearing a silk robe, looking the part of the fragile matriarch. Oh, it's beautiful, she wheezes. But I don't know if I have the energy for a full dinner. Don't worry, Evelyn, I say, pulling out her chair. I think you'll find the energy. Tonight is going to be very invigorating. The doorbell rings. Mark looks confused. Are we expecting someone? Just a few witnesses, I say, heading for the door. The dining room is full. Mark's Aunt Linda is there, along with two of Evelyn's bridge partners. They're all hovering over Evelyn, offering platitudes and blessings for her recovery. Evelyn is loving it. She's center stage, playing the martyr to perfection. Mark is standing by the sideboard, looking overwhelmed, but happy to see his mother getting so much attention. Dinner is served, I announce. I bring out the plates, but I don't sit down. I stand at the head of the table. Before we eat, I say, the room falling silent. I'd like to give a toast. To Evelyn. Here, Mark says, raising his glass. To Evelyn, I continue, my voice gaining strength. A woman who has managed to do something truly miraculous. She has managed to keep a roof over her head, a son at her beck and call, and a daughter-in-law acting as her maid, all while being in perfect radiant health. The room goes ice cold. Mark's glass stops halfway to his lips. Evelyn's face turns a ghostly shade of gray, but this time, it's not an act. Sarah, Mark says, his voice warning. What are you doing? I'm telling the truth, Mark. The truth you've been too blinded by guilt to see. I pull my phone from my pocket and tap the screen. It's connected to the Bluetooth speaker in the buffet. Evelyn's voice fills the room. It's a masterpiece. Mark is practically glued to my side. She's so desperate to be the good daughter-in-law that she's burning herself alive to keep me warm. The guests gasp. Aunt Linda's jaw drops. Mark looks like he's been struck by lightning. That's not what it sounds like. Evelyn stammers, her weak voice gone, replaced by a sharp panic screech. Oh, it gets better, I say. I swipe to the next file. It's the recording of the doctor's office. The confirmation that there is no heart condition, no degenerative disease, just a series of wellness checks paid for in cash. Sarah, stop this. Evelyn screams, lunging across the table. She's surprisingly fast for a woman who supposedly can't walk without a cane. She grabs for the phone, but I step back. Look at her, Mark. I shout. Look at your dying mother. She's stronger than I am. Mark is staring at his mother, truly staring at her for the first time in months. He sees the rage in her face, the physical agility she just displayed, the lack of any breathlessness. Mom, he whispers. Is it true? Mark, honey, she's twisted it. Evelyn cries, trying to shift back into her sick persona, but it's too late. The mask is shattered. I did it for us. I did it because I was losing you. She was taking you away to Chicago, to a life where I didn't matter. You lied about dying? Mark's voice is breaking. I spent our savings on your treatments. I gave up my career. I let my marriage fall apart because I thought I was losing you. I did it for love. Evelyn screams, her face contorting into something hideous. She turns to the guests. Get out, all of you. This is a family matter. Aunt Linda stands up, her eyes full of disgust. You're sick, Evelyn, but not in the way you told us. Come on, everyone. Let's leave. The room clears out in a flurry of whispers and slammed doors. Then there is only the three of us, and the cold, expensive dinner getting cold on the table. Evelyn is sitting in her chair, panting, not from illness, but from the exertion of her own rage. She looks small now, not fragile, just small and mean. I hope you're happy. She spits at me. You've ruined everything. No, I say, picking up my coat from the hallway. I've fixed everything. I've stopped being your victim. I look at Mark. He's sitting with his head in his hands. He looks like a man who has just woken up in the middle of a wasteland. Mark, I say softly. He looks up. His eyes are red, filled with a mixture of shame and realization. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I didn't see it. I didn't listen to you. I know you didn't, I say. And that's the problem. You chose her lie over my truth for 6 months. You let her treat me like a servant. You let her destroy us. We can fix it, he pleads, standing up. Now that we know, we can move out. We can start over. I look at him, and for the first time, I don't feel that desperate urge to comfort him. I don't feel the need to be the good wife who fixes everything. I feel nothing. The love I had for him was burnt up in the fire of his mother's manipulation, and he was the one who held the match. You can move out, Mark, I say, but I'm not starting over with you. I'm starting over with myself. Evelyn starts to wail, a real, genuine sound of someone losing their power. Mark, you can't leave me. Who will take care of me? Mark looks at her, then back at me. He sees the difference. He sees the woman who gave him everything and the woman who took everything from him. Call your friend Diane, Mom. Mark says, his voice hollow. Maybe she can help you with your treatments. He walks toward me, reaching out, but I step through the front door into the cool night air. The lavender scent is gone. The antiseptic smell is gone. I walk to my car, my heels clicking on the pavement with a steady, confident rhythm. I don't look back at the Victorian house or the shadows in the window. I have my own savings, my own talent, and a future that belongs entirely to me. I realize now that the perfect family I was trying to save was just a cage with gold bars. Sometimes losing your family is the price of finding yourself.